Michael Jamison, welcome back to the big league. Couldn't get a bigger stage, I guess, tonight. 85,000 journey, probably 88 actually. How did you first and foremost pull up?
Yeah, no, pulled up well, Beast. Obviously, I cramped a bit towards the end of the game, but I expected that being my first game back. I was able to play a bit of VFL while I was suspended, so I was able to keep the match fitness up a bit. So 8-day turnaround will help, and we'll take on the Bombers next week.
You're the old head down there at the moment. I mean, we've got fellows in the back half that are really, first, second game players new to the club. So there's a fair degree of responsibility, I guess, that sits with you at the current time.
Yeah, and it's something that I've taken on board, pretty well. Myself and Jordan Russell, we don't mind that job now. It's it's up to us to help those guys. Like Nick Dygan's an older guy, but he hasn't played, obviously much football. Jeremy Laidler's a bit older, but he hasn't played much football, especially with us. Chris Sharon's new down there, and the other guys are pretty young as well. So we play our own roles, but we've also got to help those younger guys out as well.
How did you assess the game itself? There were ebbs and flows, and there were periods of play where Carlton were really proactive and took it to Collingwood and looked really good in patches. I suppose there were times too where errors were cashed in on by Collingwood. Generally speaking, how did you think it panned out?
Yeah, you're spot on, Tone. It was, we saw at our best that we can match it with them, and in that part of that second quarter when we were playing pretty good footy, we took it right up to them, but then we realised that if you don't play 4 quarters of good football against a team like Collingwood, then you get hurt, and that's what happened. We fell away, and they sort of dominated us for parts of the game, and but that's maybe 2 years ago we'd be happy with this loss, whereas we're obviously very flat about the loss, and there's no such thing as sort of an honourable loss for us anymore. We expect to win every week we play, and we'll bounce back next week.
You're within 5 goals of the reigning premier, though. You must take something from that game. It's a big stage, big crowd, reigning premier. You've held up pretty well.
Yeah, they're up and about, and as I said, we found out that when we play that football that we expect of each other now, then we can match it with them. But it's about getting that 4-quarter effort.
Now, I dare say there'll be a couple of players to come back into the team. That Paulie Bauer being one, Hendo another. I mean, that's got to help the structure.
Yeah, certainly. Getting Bowers back there, as we said before, we are a young side, so Bowers has got a bit more experience now. He's playing this weekend, I think, so he's not far away, and Lockie would have been really close, but I think got Cook earlier in the week, so they'll both play tomorrow and hopefully put in good performances, and we can hopefully see them next week.
What will it mean to someone like Matthew Watson, Chris Yaron, Laidler, another one, to play on the big stage in front of a sellout crowd? It's got to augur well for them in terms of their experiences.
Yeah, certainly. It's one thing playing VFL and learning the craft, but if you can get as many games as you can when you're young on the big stage of VFL, it really helps. It's probably worth 10 VFL games. I found that playing 5 games in my first year at the end of the year, you just really know what to expect that next year, and you know what you have to do to play against these top sides and match it against them.
Army night, Jamo, was pretty warm.
Yeah, it was pretty warm. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't too hot that you really noticed it, but it wasn't as hot as last week, I guess. You
don't have too many beads of sweat, so there's obviously a bit left in the tank.
Oh, there's nothing left in the tank, mate. It's been an hour since the game. Cooked.
But there's time and planning and preparation to go in for the big game against Essendon next week. Again, a great test, but a real chance for the club to rebound.
Yeah, and we've got an 8-day break, which helps. The boys travelled last week, so they're pretty fatigued. So they'll rest up over the weekend and get a full week on the track next week.
Thanks very much, Jamo.
Pleasure.